Welcome to Business Innovators Radio, featuring industry influencers and trendsetters sharing proven strategies to help you build a better life right now.
Hello, listeners. This is your host, Andy Curry. Welcome to today's program. I have on the line with me Niklas Myhr. Niklas has been speaking professionally for 5 years. The content he speaks on is right up my alley, which is social media, digital marketing. I love that type of information. Niklas speaks in the U.S. and internationally. He's based out of California. And Niklas, welcome to the program.
Well, thank you, Andy. I appreciate it. It's been a pleasure to connect virtually and now speak over the phone. And looking forward to chatting with you.
Yeah, me too. Well, let's talk about your speaking business. Who is it that you're speaking to? Why are they having you speak to them, and what kind of things are you teaching them?
I have a couple of different audiences. One of them is trying to bring executives, since I've had background in executive education and teaching in business schools, to actually talk to managers at higher levels that are trying to embrace the new technologies and trying to actually bring them up to date with trends and with action plans and how to get started, even though they may not necessarily be the people that will be personally involved in the daily operations of a social media platform and management system. And that usually goes over very well when I bring them up to date at the same time as I try to convey the message that it's actually easier for them to embrace some new technologies, given that they are successful in business, than somebody who is young and naive about business that just knows a lot of technologies, and trying to comfort them that the battle is not lost. They can still get on board. The other audience is more targeted towards small business owners and recent graduates that some of my old former students call me back and they want me to come out to the companies, and sometimes in conferences where you have people that basically set up their own presence as a small startup or as a personal brand. And I try to help them to maneuver this ocean of information overload and try to get them started on the right path.
It is an information overload. Now, you are known as the social media professor, correct?
That is my tag name that I actually started to run with about 5 years ago, more as an exercise for my students to show that you have to specialize in something, you have to be known for something. And I picked these 3 words and said, let's see if I can rank for this on Google. And the competition wasn't that high as some other terms, of course, but lo and behold, in a little while I was ranked number 1 or number 2, battling with some other professors. And then I realized that this was actually even as powerful as I told students. I was starting to practice what I preach. I get people to call me from different places for interviews and BBC and NPR radio and speaking engagements. And I was sort of taken aback a little bit because I realized that this actually works. And these are things that my students should embrace for whatever specialty they have. So the social media professor is sort of a tag name that I'm running with for as long as this term is relevant. I think social media is here to stay, but it might be called something else tomorrow. So that's what I tag myself right now.
Okay. Now, you are a teacher as well, correct?
That's true, yeah. I got my PhD from the University of Virginia and thought I would go back to Sweden and be a consultant or something. But after this PhD experience in a business school in America, I actually met a lot of people that were in academia in business schools around the country, and I thought, why not give it a try? And now I've been teaching at Tulane University, American University, and now been 9 years at Chapman University in Southern California, and I really love this place because it's a place where it's a relatively small but well-funded private school that can actually has some flexibility and not too big class sizes at the same time. So it's located in a place where you have both nice climate, of course, for Sweden, but also a lot of business interaction and opportunities to explore the world. And we also have activities in different parts of the world. So I've been doing travel courses to Scandinavia and teaching in Prague, where we have an MBA program. So that is sort of, I'm an assistant professor of marketing, where I teach internet and social media marketing and international marketing are my specialties when I teach at college.
Okay. Now, what have you, you've obviously been watching the social media trend that's gone on and on. What's the biggest change you've seen in that recently, and where do you think it's going?
One trend that I have spotted is that in the early days of social media, say 2009, 2010, 2011, a lot of people were excited to jump on board because they were tired of all this spamming, all this noisy outbound marketing, and people felt such a relief to find this ocean of peace where they could actually swim around and hang out and be friendly, and it was almost getting to a kumbaya situation where people were holding hands and singing around the bonfire. It almost became forbidden to sell because the mantra became on social media, you should not sell. And it is true that many beginners on social media still today, they start out the wrong way by trying to sell and push product on social media as opposed to build relationships. However, I think that the pendulum swung a little bit too far in the sense that some companies never made it known even to their biggest fans that they had something to offer, and they felt it was not cool to provide that information on social networks. I think now in the last couple of years, I see a trend in the other direction where if it's done correctly, I think it could be a powerful combination where you are primarily social, building relationships, adding value, helping, communicating with friends, fans, and followers. And sometimes when you have earned the respect of people that follow you, you make it known that you have an offer that is made available, and you can actually sell or bring people into your sales funnel, as it's called. And I think that is done rightly the way to go, where you actually qualify your prospects also on social media and take it more seriously. The other trend is that more and more companies are implementing automation tools to provide outputs in a more efficient manner, and that could also be done correctly or incorrectly. It could be that you implement automatic algorithms that spit up updates everywhere, and if it's too much, it could be noisy, but if it's done correctly, it could actually simplify your life a little bit, where you have algorithms in place that post things at the right time to the right person based on their previous interaction. But still, I think we cannot forget the human element, and that will always trump anything else when it comes to building trust, being there present, and actually being active and authentic and real. That will never go out of fashion. Absolutely.
What do you find is the most effective for marketing? Because of course there's Facebook, Twitter, and there's others. Is there a one that you find is more effective than others?
I hesitate to generalize. But yesterday I said to my new students that I cannot see why you should not at least have a presence on the biggest social network of them all, Facebook, even though it's not as cool and hot and new anymore. It's becoming almost corporate in some people's eyes, and it's not as hip and new as Snapchat or Instagram or whatever. But I think that if you look at as a starting point, having a Facebook page to at least allow your friends, fans, and followers to actually share word of mouth and stay in touch and being a loyal friend and connect with them over there, I think is a starting point. It is true that organic reach from Facebook is going down, which means that on your page you have to pay to reach even your followers, but at least having a presence there allows them to tag you when they visit you, when they talk to you, and you can actually do very targeted advertising as well to people that actually appreciate what you have to offer. So I think I would not go away from Facebook, even though I'm excited about experimenting with all these other platforms as they come along. But Twitter is something that has gotten a bad rep because for new users, average users, they feel it's information overload. But I think that's more of a listening problem. They are having too many things to listen to. They don't listen with lists. They don't listen with searches. And I think people have to be smarter about having a filter when they listen, because Twitter can be truly powerful to find people that you want to hang out with, partner with, or buy from, or sell to, if you actually develop relationships that way, because it's wide open. I think Twitter can be more about your future, and Facebook is very strong to connect with your past, old friends, colleagues, bosses, etc. And sometimes be in the future, of course, but Twitter is very future-oriented. You can tap into your passions, your interests, and your skills, and find like-minded people that is wide open.
Interesting. And you said a minute ago, I thought it was an interesting comment where Facebook it's old and it's not new and hip and everything. So what is new and hip other than Facebook? Do you have any thoughts on that?
Without any doubt, the hippest and most exciting thing in recent times is extremely new. It's just a couple of months old. It's a company called, or a service called Blab.im, BLAB.im, which is a live video interface where you can interact with 4 people at the same time with video showing, and anyone can jump in the comment field and watch the conversation, ask questions, give comments and feedback, and also jump into the conversation when a seat opens up. This is similar to Google Hangouts in terms of being able to be several people watching each other on video at the same time live. However, the big differentiator is that the interface is simpler and the average user can get aboard in a minute, whereas Google Hangouts and previous solutions often required some technical problem solving and some other bottlenecks that was not easy to get through. So I think the reason I find this powerful in the 2 weeks that I've experimented with this, and I just ran my own blog last week called Global Social Media, and who wants to come and chat about this? And I invited some people, participants from Australia, Thailand, Europe, Sweden, and US. And I think just having that conversation, sometimes unscripted, it could be a real way to get to know people that you wouldn't have met otherwise, centered around common interests. So you actually, of course, you can use this in the wrong way as well. I mean, it's quite possible to waste too much time on this platform, and that doesn't necessarily lead to any business benefit. But I think that the true power I've seen so far is that I've been hanging out with some people that are quite high profile and talking to them and inviting them as guest speakers, etc. That would have been difficult through traditional means, because you almost replicate the face-to-face experience when you sit and chat with people on this platform. I think marketers are now experimenting with how they can use this for business purposes. I see speakers jumping on board. I saw Terry Brock jumping into a conversation or being present, and I see others that are, you can see at National Speakers Association, or Ian James and others that are now trying to develop a presence there where they can give a presentation maybe and then get feedback and invite people for Q&A. And then I think that it might not revolutionize everybody's world, but I think it's an opportunity that speakers definitely should look into.
So it's blab.im, is that what you said?
Yes. Yes.
And it does 4 videos at once? Up to 4 videos?
And I've even seen podcasters that run their interviews via Blab and record it, because immediately when the Blab is finished, this conversation, the company sends you an audio file and a video file that you can use on your blog or elsewhere, or transcribe if you wish. So I've seen several high-profile bloggers or podcasters, such as Michael Stelzner, a Social Media Examiner. He started interviewing people on Blab live, and you can watch it live, and it's also going to go out in the traditional podcast format after the fact.
That is interesting. I've heard of it, but I haven't really looked into that. So is there any other new ones other than that come to mind that are seemingly hot?
Actually, That is the main one that I think would have the hot factor more than usual, because I am ordinarily trying to be a little bit conservative when it comes to jumping on every new bandwagon. When it comes to a social network, I try to experiment and follow it, but this one has been more compelling than most in recent years. I usually tell small business owners, don't get overwhelmed by trying to jump on what's going to be hot in 18 months as your primary platform. I think that you should have a core presence of maybe 3-4 networks, and then experiment some, so that you at least create an account on new hot platforms. Sometimes you have to protect your brand name, of course, and nobody else takes your brand name or your person name in case it's going to take off. But I would not sort of over-invest in what's going to be really big next year. But this Blab.im is an exception where I think it could pay off to jump in early.
Okay. Well, that's good information. Well, Niklas, thank you so much for giving us that information. Now, how can someone get a hold of you should they want to hear you speak or talk to you?
It would be a pleasure to connect. I'm Niklas Myhr on Twitter. I have my main blog presence on the socialmediaprofessor.com, and follow my newsletter. I would be honored to interact in LinkedIn. Same name, Niklas Myhr, if you can spell it, Niklasmyhr.
Okay. Well, Niklas, thank you again for joining us and pulling back the curtain on what's going on in your life and what you're teaching people. That was really good information.
I appreciate it, Andy, and maybe we can blab together and experiment together and explore this new platform.
Sounds great.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for listening to Business Innovators Radio. To hear all episodes featuring leading industry influencers and trendsetters, visit us online at businessinnovatorsradio.com today.